ang talong sa taas, yung kanin sa ilalim. Sabi ni Salatin,
my wife cook whatever she likes. We have the Filipino spices oil. We have soya sauce, or maybe the suka, or whatever we have.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Ibrahim Casey. Here we are again in this AFC Arab Filipino community. We do videos every Saturday, 11 o'clock, and we try to upload like 1 or 2 videos a week. So we already did introduction for what is this program about. We have a page. Don't forget to like and follow, and you can give your question and we will answer it, inshallah. Last week, someone asked us 3 questions. There are 3 comments that I read. Ito, wag kayong aalis ha. Magtatagalog tayo mamaya, inshallah. So last week, may nagtanong 3 katanungan na nabasa natin sa comment. First question was, what dishes do Arab Filipino prepare in the house yan if it is Filipino food or Arab food they always eat, and what language they use inside the house. So unang katanungan, anong pagkain daw ang hinahanda ng Filipino-Arab na pamilya sa loob ng bahay, at anong lengguwahe ang ginagamit nila sa loob ng bahay. Second question, it is true that Arabian women cannot marry non-Arab. So, totoo ba ang Arabian ay hindi pwede mag-asawa ng lalaki na hindi Arabo? Third question, last, is it is impossible if a Filipino housemaid became a wife of her kafil, some of the family members, and how it will be the reaction of the man's family. So, posible ba, tinanong ng isa sa nag-comment, na ang isang Pilipina na kasambahay ay nahulog siya sa kafil niya, nagkagusto sa kafil, o naging asawa niya ang kafil niya, in-offeran siya na maging asawa, or isa sa pamilya ng amo niya. Posible ba yun? At ano kaya magiging reaction ng pamilya ng lalaki kung ang isang babae ay ganun lang ang kanyang naging position sa buhay? So inshallah, we will start all this question to answer it from our Arab Filipino families here we have, and both based on their experience, from their experience of marriage and being with the Filipina wife.
I think Brother Khalid begin first. He is the respected. He is honored because he is the oldest.
Allah barik.
Of course, his experience is longer than us.
Allah barik.
Okay, we will answer the first question. What food it was prepared and what language you use in the house?
Actually, this week in our house, it was really, let's say 30%, 40% Filipino food, and the other is Arab food. My wife, just a few hours ago, we have our lunch, which is sinigang isda. Sinigang sa kamates na isda. It is like mackerel or small tuna. They call it small tuna. Or there is another name. Is in Batangas they call it. It's not pangos. Mackerel, they call it mackerel, something like that. A few days ago also sweet and sour, and there was so almost 30 to 40% this week is Filipino food. The other was upside down, makluba. I think every Arab knows makluba. It is a classical Palestinian dish. When Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi, he liberated Jerusalem, he was offered, they call it batinjaniya, which is talong, ang talong sa taas, yung kanin sa ilalim. Sabi ni Salatin, anong tawag dito sa pagkain na yan? Sabi, batinjaniya. Sabi ni, hindi, upside down, kasi yung manok, tsaka yung nilalagay sa ilalim ng kuldero, tapos niluto ang kanin sa tubig ng manok. Sinaing muna yung manok, tapos yung sabaw ng manok nilalagay doon sa kanin, tapos pagluto na lahat, pinabaliktad na. Kaya upside down ang tawag doon. So this is almost our weekly food. Pansit is occasional when there's an occasion or when there's a request. Actually, my daughter has been requesting for palapok for some time now, but unfortunately, I went to the store where we purchased this Mamacita ready mix. Mamacita, alam niyo siguro yan. Wala, puro expired na daw. So the Filipino cuisine is always present in our house. Tufo also was added last week with the sweet and sour. Tufo with, yung meron kang tufo with some vegetables, and also a side dish will be sibuyas na meron suka at kunting sili at kunting toyo. Yun ang pinaka number one. Tapos, ang masarap doon, kainin mo talaga kamay. Mas masarap pag nagkakamay. So, who's next? That's for our week.
Inshallah, yani balance. Sometimes Arab, sometimes Filipino food.
Yes. Okay. So I have an experience with Malaysian food while I was a young man in college time. So I got used to eat the difficult foods for Arab. What is the dry fish or kinds of fish, and have something for Malaysian. It's near like bagoong. So most of the Filipino food I can eat. I don't have any problem as an Arab to eat the Filipino food.
You can smell that bagoong?
Dry fish, or so I can eat all. When I get married, we our life looks like 100% Filipino food. We eat rice 3 times a day. But after a time, I asked my wife that is we need to have a balance because we have children. The children need to learn both of the two cultures. So we begin to have some kind of bread in the morning and some kind of bread at night. But also we come to eat rice sometimes 3 times a day or maybe 2 times a day. In my house, about 80% of the food is Filipino. So our cuisine is Filipino cuisine. My wife cook whatever she likes. We have the Filipino spices all. We have soya sauce or maybe the suka or whatever. We have all kind of sauces. We are eating pancit. So in my house, 80% is Filipino food, and I don't mind to have 100% Filipino food because of my background was eating Malaysian food, which is close to the Filipino food. But sometimes we are eating.
Sheikh Khalid knows how to cook pancit.
I don't know how to cook.
You saw the YouTube channel, he knows how to cook.
My wife sometimes is trying to think of my culture. Then she's trying to cook mahshi. Mahshi is a vegetable full of rice, or maybe sometimes kushari. And one of the foods is close to Egyptian kitchen. It's minudu. I like minudu because it looks like it's like Egyptian food. It's minudu from beans, the green beans. That's it. So we are happy. We have we respect each other's cultures, and the children also get used to all kind of foods.
You forgot the language, that what you used to use language inside the house.
Regarding the language, you can say that is the main language in the house is English. Sometimes it's Taglish, because some of the words we are using Filipino language. The same as basa, the same as basura, dali. So some of the words we got to use Filipino words, Tagalog words. But the main language of the house is English. The children go to Arab school, then they begin to talk in Arabic. But our main language, you can say English. In Qatar here, most of the Arab Filipino families are using the English as their main house language, the first language of the family.
Thanks for sharing. Let's go back to Khalid about the language he forgot.
Yeah, actually, the language for me is when I talk to my wife, we speak Filipino, pure Filipino. Sometimes when I want to tease her, I speak their dialect, which is Filipino, Batangas. Kapag nagsasalita ng Batangas,
I think they are the original Tagalog, yeah.
Yeah. Buntong Tagalog, Buntong Batangas. When speaking to the children when they were young, I insisted on using Arabic because they have to catch the language itself, the vowels, the kha, the ha, you know that. Yeah. But with certain things, ain, ghain, dod. But with the mixing that with some Tagalog, especially for those embarrassing terms, mabaho, tatae, puputa, nuno, dedede. So since they're young still, they are using that language. Even with my grandchildren now, they are following the same scheme. Even my eldest son is married to an Arab Circassian, but still we are using Filipino terminology with him, but Arabic is the main language for the children.
Assalamu alaikum. Regarding my experience as a half Filipino, half Egyptian, we have firstly the language. I will speak first the language.
Okay.
We have 4 languages inside the house. We speak. My father is fluent in Maguindanao, which is a dialect in Filipino language, one of the dialects. He is very fluent in Maguindanao, and we speak also Maguindanao with him non-stop. And he speak sometimes English, depending upon his mood. When he angry, he speak Arabic.
Ah,
When he
so
is
you don't know if
joking,
it's
yeah,
English.
yeah. When he's very serious, he's speaking Arabic. He speaks straight Arabic. So we know something is wrong. So sometimes he
By the way,
speak Tagalog when he joke a little.
by the way, that is the mother tongue. The mother tongue appears mostly in the when you are angry. Everybody when he's angry is speaking his mother tongue.
When he is when we are doing joking and doing normal work at home, he speak Maguindanao English, some Arabic. Sometimes we speak one sentence in four languages. One sentence is in four languages. And sometimes we're going outside, we are speaking Maguindanao in front of Egyptian fellows. So they are astonished by the experience of my father. You know, this is Egyptian. He's speaking language that we are out of his world. You know.
Sounds like Malaysian.
Yeah, and also the food. Sometimes my mother served two dishes. You know, Arabian and Egyptian and Filipino dishes in one meal. We eat kushari. We eat kushari sometimes with the fish, with the vegetables. You know, mix. So we cannot say that I don't want this food. I don't want the meal today. I don't want the meal in the morning, because you can find everything you want. If you want Arab food, you can find. If you want Filipino food, also you can find. If you want Maguindanao, you can request. But my father is eating all the Maguindanao food except two foods. One food, they called it tuyo in Tagalog.
Yeah.
He never eat tuyo. He said that dry fish. He said that why the Filipino people making the fish dry while it was fresh? I can eat it fresh. Why? For what reason they make it dry? That's his answer. The second thing is the food we eat in Maguindanao during Eid. We call it tapay.
Tapay.
Tapay. He never eat tapay. He said, why does the food should be like that? Should be, they make it like a little bit rotten like that. I don't know how is the process, but it is masarap. By the way.
Kagit-git, you know?
Kagikit. We eat. He also eat kagikit. We eat kagikit pastel, and even all the fishes there, because some Filipinos they don't eat dalag. I don't know if Sheikh Khalid and Sheikh Mahmoud are familiar with dalag fish. Dalag.
It's like dry fish also?
It's like catfish, but it's not catfish.
Oh.
It's a mudfish. It's
hito, right?
It's a Maguindanao. No, it's not hito. It's dalag.
Okay.
And the Filipino people, they know about it, and most of them they don't eat it because it's a mudfish. It's masarap also, and he eats it. They don't have any hesitation for that.
The word masarap, it's related to the traditions or the way that you got used to it. So it is something different from one person to another. It's a cultural terminology, cultural issue. I can say masarap, you say no. You can say masarap, I say no. But it comes for me because I got used to Malaysian food while I was young. So I don't mind any Filipino food. Malaysian have a dry fish, and they have something like bagoong, all this kind of fishy food Arab cannot eat. I can eat because I got used to it while I was young, man. That's it. And I saw it masarap.
Which one of you eat tuyo?
I can eat tuyo also.
Dry fish. Sheikh Khalid eat?
I can eat dry fish.
I can.
Sheikh Khalid.
Mahmoud, you eat?
Yes, I can.
Dry fish?
Dilis,
Yes, I eat.
dilis, and also tinapa. They call it tinapa.
Tinapa,
Oh,
yes.
yes, very good.
Yes, I can eat bagoong, no problem. Anchovies, provided that there is no pork lard there.
The oil, yeah. But still smelly. Yeah, because we used to have foreigners in our place. They passed by that market. There was dry fish. He said, "What kind of smell that is like a garbage there?" They're not used to it.
Malaysian people, they're eating something called belacan and something called voodoo. It looks like bagoong also.
Voodoo.
Sheikh Mahmoud, fasikh, not
Fasikh, yeah,
not
it
from
is
the
just
Fasikh.
close to fasikh.
Yes, fasikh is the same way, salted also, but not the same smell as bagoong or dry fish. So,
Not all bagoong is smelly. Some bagoong is really not smelly. It depends on the way they dry it. I've seen it in some markets. It's delicious, really, and not smelly at all. There is some dry fish.
At the time that I was young, I brought many Malaysian food to my house. Most of my family, they didn't eat it. While it was so delicious, they don't like to try. They don't have any any intention even to try. So some people like that. Some people like that.
Last session, I talked about my grandmother. She once came to me, Khalid, you can try any food, but how come you allow your wife to cook fish when it is with sugar? It's not يعني proper. Why you allow it? Well, I like it. It's so, sweet and sour. Masarap yun. Just
Yes,
try
I like it also. I like it so
Rasulullah
much
sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will not eat.
Yeah.
It's very delicious, sweet and sour.
I will just share also as a half Palestinian Filipino. I remember even in Gaza for 7 years. It's also balanced, like you guys. Like sometimes my mother, she used to cook in the breakfast and the lunch for Filipino, and sometimes in the dinner, my father will cook. Or sometimes the Palestinian way of small dinner, only like khobs, the zatal, and in the breakfast, it's really totally like Egyptian Palestinian with the the khiyar, the vegetable, the kamatis, and with the cheese, eggs, and khobos, and you call that the zata like this. But on the lunch, sometimes it is a fried fish, and then every Friday, my father used to cook the best Palestinian food like magluba. In the Philippines, he used to cook every Friday Palestinian dishes. So it's also balanced. About the language, but I don't know about the dry fish, if he's used to it. Maybe I remember sometimes he doesn't want the smell. It's really not good. But the language, I speak to my mother in Tagalog. That's why I learned Tagalog from her. And in my father, when I don't know how to speak yet Arabic, I used to speak with him in English. So I grow up using, but he's using to me Arabic until we go to Philippines. Sometimes he used to me Arabic with English, and my mother Tagalog. So it's been balanced. When he was gone, no more. The Arabic also was gone already. No more. And that is, I just stick with English and Tagalog. That's why when I came back to Saudi, some words are reminding me again. But they have the different accent here, but I like it, so I'm learning it, inshallah.
Inshallah, Rabbil Alameen.
But now I'm studying in King Saud in the morning for the Arabic Fusha. It is 2 years course. So inshallah, I wanted to learn the Fusha Arabic also.
Yeah, we have to remember children can easily learn 3 languages. Very easy. Can simultaneously learn 3 languages. It depends on the language you talk to them. If the father, for example, use Arabic and English, and the mother Filipino and English, or Maguindanao and English, they can go through 3 languages very easily without any problems. That's my experience.
I remember because my mother, she's using me sometimes to translate her what is happening in the house, what did my grandmother said or my grandfather, or so she used me. What did he say? Did we speak in Tagalog? So we use it as a spy or password for us both. 2 of us only can understand. But sometimes he also told me to speak it fast because my aunt, she can pick up the words. She can familiar the words. Understand a little bit Tagalog. Because that's why she let me speak fast of Tagalog. Before I was her translator. If we have visitor, those Palestinian kids have Filipino. They speak with my mother, but Arabic. So my mother let me translate it from Arabic to Tagalog. So I think we already answer all the questions. Mashallah, this is a nice video. It's cost only like 10 minutes. We answer all the question of that. The first question, yeah. So we are ready to the second question. Last, we asked Dr. Nidal about what is the food dishes you cook inside the house. What is the food that you used to eat inside the house? It's Arab food or Filipino? How do you balance it? And what language do you use inside the house? To Dr. Nidal, because we already done for it a while ago. That was our first video.
Well, Filipino food, I'm eating it more than 20 years or more even. So it became part of my life. I'm going to survive without it, honestly speaking. There are some, but in the same time, when I got married, I had a deal with my wife that also she has to cook Arab. And alhamdulillah, the things I have taught her. Now she became more expert. And then I used to have a DH in my house. She's an old woman. We used to call her Mana. She used to cook Arabic food in a very good way. She taught my wife. Same time, I'm eating from the Filipino food, like chicken curry, like kari. This is unbelievable. One of the best food I have eaten in my life.
Just last month, I went to your house, kari. You prepared for me. Kabsa and kari I saw. In the house of Dr. Nidal, mashallah.
Kari. Also, there are many food really very nice. We are eating from both sides, so that we are buying fish sometime and we are making it.
Okay, let's challenge you. Let's test you now if you will pass this exam. Do you eat dry fish? Tuyo.
Dry fish.
Yeah, the smelly one. The tuyo.
Mahirap yun eh. Mahirap yun talaga. Yan the smell talaga mahirap.
Makitan mahirap.
If they will cook it, they have to do it in advance before I come to the house. Then they have to put some perfumes para walang talaga. Because maybe our neighbor will be complaining.
You failed the
Mahirap ng
exam.
buhay.
All of us are eating here. Every one of us, we are eating it. Dry fish, tuyo. Even bagoong, you know bagoong?
Yeah, I know.
Do you eat it?
Well, not really much. But the black one, we are putting it with. This is really good. Also, we are eating. They put it. It's a toyo. They call it. You can.
Yeah, the toyo.
Yeah, you put the fish or the
Tuyo.
sometime you use
Tuyo. You already tried tuyo, yani.
from Batha. We do buy many things because sometimes we are buying those things from Batha. Now the malls, honestly, some of the malls here in Riyadh, they provide Filipino food or also Indonesian food.
Here in Riyadh, we have. It seems like you're in Philippines. All the product there, you have it here.
Yeah, and
So
they call it Batha.
But
There are many.
this is not sponsored, but I hope they can see this video. The manager Ernesto, we promote your video, your grocery. By the way, the last is the language. What do you use inside the house?
I used to use Tagalog in the house with my wife with the kids. For me, I use English. Other than everybody would benefit from this language. With my kids, I use Arabic. Okay? With my wife, I use English. With my children, I use Arabic. They use English with the house. My wife.
Do she use Tagalog to the kids, or do anyone use Tagalog?
Before, when I was in Philippines, we used to talk in Tagalog in the house. Or everybody talking with others in Tagalog. But right now we are using English. My children went to some international schools. They start to learn some English. But they know how to speak Arabic very well, English very well, Tagalog they haven't.
That's why when I came to your house. Yeah, I have my colleague. He's a Da'i Pakistani. He is origin from Pashto. He speaks Pashto. It's similar to Persian. He speaks also Persian and Urdu and Arabic fluent. He's a teacher in Arabic and English. So his kid, when he bring his kid in the Islamic Center, 10 years old boy, speak like 5 or 6 language. I was surprised that a young boy can knows the different of the, because also even me, my kids, I'm confused like how they can balance it. They are now speaking Tagalog, and I wish once I learn Arabic fluent and go back to teach them Arabic, and how they will balance in the English. And the mother is Italian, so before they understand Italian. So when they are living with the mother, they use Ilocano. My daughter, she's studying in the school, they use the dialect Ilocano. When she moved to the Gupan in our place, another dialect, Pangasinense, Pangalatok. So it's another far from Ilocano. And now she's studying Pangalatok. So I think the brain of the kids confused now what she's really what language she's learning. So much mix up.
The children, they are very, very intelligent usually. If you will tell them, I need you to learn 10 languages, they will do it. But you have to bring somebody who will talk with them in different languages. That's why they are very smart.
She will know if she's speaking Tagalog, and this is not Tagalog, this is Ilocano. She knows the difference, do you think?
Yeah. The children, they are very smart. I used to have one kid, she used to speak Tagalog, very fluent, but she's speaking like radio, 24 hours, the whole 24 hours. So one time I told her, from this moment, I want you to speak only Arabic with me and with your mother English, because she has to learn this new language. And subhanAllah, from that moment, exactly, she never speak another language with us. These 2 languages I have taught her. She speaks now. She speaks like me, Arabic, and she speaks with her mother English, and mashallah, she speaks better than Arabic.
How old she is when she start to focus?
That time she was 10 years. She was about 8 years old, something like that.
8 years old. Oh. Okay, at least I got idea for my kids. So that is the last video. We will include this to the first topic that you missed a while ago. So Alhamdulillah, thank you for your time.